Hi there, I'm Bob Burridge. Welcome to Finding the Focus in Your Painting. 4 videos on Strathmore oil paper. I love this stuff. You don't have to gesso it or anything. It comes ready to go in the pants. I love this stuff. This is number 3, lesson number 3. We're going to be doing the painting the floral still lives. We're going to talk about how to take a mess and turn it into a painting of flowers. The negative shape painting. Here's a good example of negative shape painting. You will also notice that it's the Rembrandt lighting. Dark to light, dark to light. I'm going to be doing one with black and white oil paint and one color. It makes it monochromatic. I love monochromatic. So what do we have? The color will be monochromatic. What's the composition? Vertical is the composition. What's the concept? What's the big idea? Well, it's a simple vase with flowers. And the last letter C is about making a commitment. I'm committed to doing that painting. Monochromatic, black and white, plus one color. Very simple. In one spot, the focal point. Even in floral paintings, you want to have one focal point, not colors and everyone screaming for attention. One focal point. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. You got a lot of things going on, but one focal point. And that's why this is called Finding the Focus in Your Painting. Let's get started. So I'm all set here with my Strathmore oil painting paper. I've already put a mid-tone on the paper. Why a mid-tone? Well, first of all, I was classically trained, and that's what they did back in the days of the classics. Put a mid-tone. So I have a mid-tone on my oil painting paper. That means I'm halfway done. I just have to put my darkest darks and my lightest lights, and it's done. So I'm going to be doing this floral that I've already shown you over here. Dark at the top, light in the bottom. Just the reverse of the Rembrandt. Let's get started. Okay, so I have my paints out, my earth tones. This is really more about earth tone. All right, so I'm going to start right off the bat here with black. And my medium that speeds things up a little bit. Here we go. There's the vase. I have a focal point. Just like in the other painting, I have a focal point. Make sure you do that. The reason why you did the painting in the first place. Because maybe one flower just got your attention. That's what I'm doing. Always start off loose. I keep stressing that. Always start off loose. Under every great painting, I think is a great loose painting. There we go. Now I'm going to put a shadow. Let's put the shadow this way. There we go. Sitting on a table. There's the table. Now here we go. Short, choppy strokes. Oh boy, this is great. Very monochromatic. That's what I wanted to do here. Very monochromatic. I have lots of piles of titanium white here. I use a lot of white. And you'll notice I have several piles. That way I hope to have one that's always clean. Now, one of the fun things about doing a painting like this is you let some of the orange peek through. Now again, I'm still conscious of the Rembrandt lighting. So it's going to be dark against light, all the way down here, dark against light, all the way up there. Now I have my midtones down. I'm going to go into pure white. Let's see where we go. So that'll be the focal point. Whoa, can't miss it. This is a simple bouquet of flowers. Monochromatic. Again, see how much fun it is when you let the background color, the mid-tone, the orange, pop through like that? Painting the table. There we go. Short, choppy strokes. I learned that from French Impressionists. I like their painting so much that I actually would start painting with short, choppy strokes. Notice that you don't do a whole lot of blending. This is not an airbrush technique. This is called painting. I'm going to give it a little bit of front reflection in here. There we go. More darks. There we go. That's the center of the flower. Paint all over. This is a good example of painting all over at the same time. Don't stay in one area too long. You'll start to tickle it to death. There we go. In, out, in, out. Don't stay in one area too long, otherwise it'll start to get really muddy. This particular painting, I basically wanted to show you dark to light, dark to light. And a good way of looking at your painting after a while, because you have so much stuff going on, it's good to look at the painting with a discarded old mat. I always have mats around. It's hard to see the painting with all this other stuff going on, so then it's nice to isolate it. That way you can see quickly what's right, what's wrong, where you want to go. I'm going to do some drawing and scratching in here. That's what I wanted to do right now. Crazy, huh? This paper doesn't warp up on me. It stays flat. I like that part. And see how much I beat it up? I beat up this paper because it can take it. Look at that. And I like to draw right into it. See? It stays flat. Whew. That's a nice feature. Yeah. See, one focal point. Look where your eye goes. Bam. You have flowers everywhere. But look where your eye goes, because the most contrast is right there. Next, let me show you how to do the same thing, but only starting with a mess. So my favorite part, let's start making a mess. But why make a mess? Well, I like to tell you, first of all, I like to mess around a whole lot in the very beginning. That way you'll stay loose. If you start off tight, you'll never loosen up. So start off loose, and then I take it from there. Besides, I like surprises. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start off purposefully putting some paint, a mess everywhere. I don't have a preconceived idea. Nice clean colors, you see? By starting off this way, you have nice clean colors. There we go. Put some more over here. I'm just a kid in the sandbox at this point. Put some green in here. Some green over here. Let some of that undercolor come through. Clean my brush in between colors, otherwise you know what happens to that color. It's not so great. All over the place. All over the place. 4 years of art school and I can't believe I'm doing this. Now purposefully making a mess. But again, the reason I do this is besides it's a fun way to get started. So you won't have any fear of a painting if it does turn into a mess. I'm going to show you how to get out of it. So never throw away your paints or your paint canvases or the paper. especially the paper. I'm going to show you what to do with it. Look, color everywhere. Color everywhere. There we go. Everywhere. Now I'll stop, otherwise it's going to start to turn muddy. So I'll leave this to dry. And here's one I did earlier. It is now fully dried. Let me show you how I'm going to turn this into a vase of flowers. So now I get to work with the mess. So I started off with a sketch, a little sketch, and notice what I've done here. I have the cruciform is the composition. I have the focal point in the sketch, and it's a vase sitting on a table. Really simple, and I just wanted to be dramatic. Look at that strong shape. There's my focal point. What I'm going after is this painting, or something that looks like it. I still have the cruciform. There's your focal point. I've got a lot of other things going on in here. Color, bouncing around, a vase sitting on a table. Really a loose painting. I'm going to try and maintain that looseness. But you still went to the focal point. No matter what's going on, and no matter what kinds of colors I have, you still went to the one focal point. But I'm going to be doing it on top of this mess. Wish me luck. But this is the best part. Doing negative shape painting. But before I do that, in case I forget, I'm going to make sure I know where the light's coming from. This is silly, but I'll tell you, I need all the help I can get. So now I know the light's coming directly this direction. That means all the flowers on this side of the painting are going to be bright. Flowers away from the light source will be darker. Duh, right? Okay, here we go. We're going to start off with the negative shape painting. And I also want to determine where do I want the focal point to be. I'm going to start off with the focal point instead. So according to the golden section, it will be somewhere right in there. Look how loose that was. Nice loose. There we go. That's the focal point of the painting itself. There'll be other things going on in there too. But that's where your eye's going to go. So I determined that at the very beginning. Now let's get rid of the part of the painting that doesn't look like flowers. This is called negative shape painting. Do all my mixing on the table, adding lots of white to it. When you add lots of white to the color, of course it makes it more opaque. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm mixing up the colors. This light green background. Here comes negative shape painting. It's also known as reductive painting. All right, here we go. Keeping that in mind. Now this is where I just make it all up. That's the fun part about painting. But still making sure the eye goes to that one spot. There we go. There we go, another one. Short, choppy strokes all over the place. I don't try to be a perfect painter. Here we go. Yeah. So I know you're starting to see it come alive. Whew. Cool. Doesn't look like flowers, so I'm going to get rid of it. I paint all over the place, all at the same time. Don't stay in one area too long. And I like those little marks throughout the... Just doesn't make sense, I know, but I like the drawing. back into it. You don't have to accept everything you see. Or believe everything you paint. Making some definition of something that looks like flowers. Yeah, there are flowers everywhere, but you still go to that one that just surrounds itself with dark colors. It says, look at me, look at me. I'm going to make this a simple vase, like a ceramic vase. Here again, this is where the contrast comes into play. Very dramatic. And let's just put a little, there we go. Boom. I'm going to simplify the table a little bit. That way, the vase stands out even better. There we go. And now, remember that sun? That sun tells me where to go with the shadow. Go in this direction, away from the sunlight. Always away from the sunlight. And there we have it. From a mess to a vase of flowers. And a little thing, just know that the vase is either a ceramic solid vase, there's a solid vase ceramic. And if it's solid, you know you're gonna have a light side and a dark side, just like that ball, right? Let's put a little highlight on that side, just like a little bling bling. Here's another one, solid. You know, make a nice shape, you know, make it alive. And again, a little bling bling highlight. Now how do you turn that into glass? Well, I actually take a solid color, and here's a glass, my illusion of glass, which is basically the same color as the background. So you're looking through the glass and you're seeing the wall behind. Just know that's going to be slightly different, but the same color. And look how sharp the stems are. I did not paint those stems. What did I do? I did that negative shape painting, where it's the same color as the background. I did it over the solid vase, and there you have the stems. Now when the stems go into the water, they shift to the right or shift to the left a little bit, you know, because of all that fiber optics and all that water. And so it's going to be slightly out of focus. Again, we're painting the illusion of glass. By making it slightly out of focus, it looks like you've got some water in there. Another way of painting water without painting the water, just make the stems out of focus. Don't forget the hot spot. The hot spot. Here's that hot spot. Here's a larger one. Same situation. The stems are really dark up above the water, but as soon as you hit the water line, they go wacky on you. And that's the fun part about painting glass. Same situation here too. Another one. Glass. Started out as solid, then I came back in with a different color of the wall that you could see through there. It kind of gives the illusion of glass. See, you're a genius already. Hey, let me tell you one more thing. So that was lesson number 3, painting floral still lifes. Look at all the things we've done. We did dark to light, the Rembrandt, the focal point, and the strong light source. That's really important. We actually took solid vases, showed the shiny spot. We showed you how to make glass, and then how to put the stems in there, glass and stems. This was the one that we did with the mess. Remember the mess went this way, it's all over the place. We just got rid of the part that didn't look like flowers, and now we have the cruciform and still the focal point. Now, that was lesson 3. It was fantastic, lots of stuff. The next lesson, look at this, lesson number 4, color. Yay, all about color. I know you want to watch all about color. I do too. And then the finishing touches. That'll be video number 4. I'm Bob Burridge. Thanks for watching, and this was Finding the Focus in Your Painting. See you on the next one.